Hey, y'all, gravity. Any day above ground, live it. I hope everybody's doing well today. Once again, get that man Torian Rain some birthday punches from me. He need 34. That's right, I said it. He finna get me on November 12th. I know, it's okay. I'm old 38 that day, but that's all right. Shout out to that brother. Another revolution around the sun has begun for him. But yes, folks, you see the thumbnail. We got to talk about this. And hilariously, it was a black conservative that spawned this story and this live that we have to do. I meant for a long while to go get Matt Walsh, but he said something particularly egregious on his show via the Daily Wire. That's the platform, so we know they're anti-black. So I said, let's go down the rabbit hole and pull up the old receipts. Boy, we got some receipts. Y'all don't believe me that I got some receipts? Family, we got to show you some of these receipts. I'm going to show you how many receipts I found. I found a lot. I'm going to pull the old Harvey move for a second. Fam, on the top here, well, except for that, all this right here, except the rumble and this, so from here to here, this is all I found. There's more, but I don't want to inundate y'all with that, because if we go in, that's like 3 hours. I don't want to do that to y'all because it's a Friday. We got paid. We got to go get some groceries. We got to go get ourselves right. But that's how much we got to start with today, family. We're going to keep this going because we know he's going to say more. But let's see who's up in here. Iron Will, good morning. Miriam, good morning. Brother Torian Rain, good morning. Again, give Torian 34 birthday punches. Okay, grab me. I hope you off today because it's a lot to unpack. I don't have to go to the plantation until about 4 o'clock. So we got time. We got time. If you want to come up, let me know. We got time. But let's begin, folks. Now, for those who don't know, Matt Walsh is one of these conservative media pundits who's been bouncing around a lot. He's been on the Blaze. Sometimes he goes on Fox News, but now he's at the Daily Wire. And we know he's said some really egregious stuff over the years about everybody. So he's an equal opportunity offender. He's gone after gay people. He's gone after his own. He's gone after Latinos. He's gone after everybody. But for him, there's something in his aortic valve that when melanin comes up, it just constricts. He loses his damn mind. All right. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe this because we need everybody to understand who we're dealing with, because this is going to be one of the voices that the white side and the Latino side and the amount of minorities are going to look to see who they're going to vote for, because those three sectors don't like doing research on their own. Because I'm a fury. Hello, you seem new. I'm new here from Torian Rain's page. I meant this up earlier. Well, thank you. I hope I am worthy of your subscription. But let's begin, family. Now, we're going to do a little bit of a different template with this show. We're going to make this user active and user interface worthy. What do I mean? I'm going to let y'all decide what we tackle. Now, we know he's black. He's a black offender. We know this. But I'm going to let y'all tell me what you guys want to see that he said. So we have stereotypes, including food. We have our interactions with the police. We also have a statement from a sexual nature. And I believe, what was the other thing? Well, we could start off with him getting hacked, getting his Twitter hacked. But I'm going to let y'all decide. So this is how we're going to do it. Y'all in the comment thread, tell me what y'all want to hear first. And then we'll work our way backwards. Because he's a cave beast and cave beasts work backwards. So I'm going to give y'all a second to think about that. Let me know in the comment thread. And we'll go from there. But while you guys are looking at that, rest in peace to the young brother, Jordan Neely. We found out who the piece of shit that killed him, allegedly. Now, they say his name is Daniel J. Penny. Daniel J. Penny. I saw another post. Somebody said his name was Samuel Hyde. We're not sure, but you have a face. You have a possible name. We found out that he is maybe connected to the New York State Police. Go get the piece of shit. He's on Long Island, Suffolk County, West Islip, allegedly. Go get the piece of shit. So rest well, young man. And I hope when you meet MJ, y'all get a beat it battle going. So okay. I guess nobody wants to volunteer something. Okay, I will do it for you then. I will do it for you. Let's begin. Let's get the easy stuff out the way first. Tabernacle. That Matt Walsh douchebag got his Twitter hacked a couple months back. Yes, he did. Via wire.com. The hacker who hijacked Matt Walsh's Twitter was just bored. The breach of the right-wing provocateur was simply a way of stirring up some drama, the attacker tells Wired, but the damage could have been much worse. Now, this man had a full meltdown that somebody took it away from him. He was crying to Elon Musk. It was hilarious. Oh, he was getting roasted for days, family. He was getting roasted for days. It was beautiful. And yes, thank you, Miriam. Also, Afro Elite had another revolution around the sun. I did not know he was under 30. I feel old. But let's read this article, shall we? I think it was actually, Tori, I think it was a couple months ago, but we'll see. It might have the date in there. Editors note, following publication, Twitter permanently suspended this article's author, Wired senior reporter Del Cameron, citing his policy against the distribution of hacked material. Wired believes Twitter's actions were unjustified. Please see statements, whatever. We don't care. The hacker who claims to have compromised the Twitter account of right-wing commentator Matt Walsh last night said he meant no harm, though he was clearly in a position to exact some. The whole purpose of the attack, he says, was to stir up controversy and sow chaos on Twitter. If that's all he was after, well, mission accomplished. Walsh's account first appeared compromised Tuesday night after a series of out-of-character posts appeared on his feed. They included jabs at fellow conservative media figures, including colleague and Daily Wire host Ben Shapiro. In a tweet directed at Shapiro, the hacker who goes by the alienist, well, they're aliens, so we made up a new word, family, alienists, who goes by the alias Doomed, wrote, "You know what you did. You are a closeted homosexual and hide behind being small hat." That's kind of fucked up. Other tweets included Joe Rogan is a P person, and I can confirm Andrew Tate kidnapped and raped those girls. A reference to the former British kickboxer and controversial misogynist arrested in Romania last year on allegations of human trafficking. Walsh, who hosts a Daily Wire podcast named after himself, has been frequently characterized as a, quote, online troll. He's previously described himself as a theocratic fascist, claims to believe anime is satanic, and push for state executions of doctors who provide minors with gender-affirming care. Due to his efforts to foment attacks against the LGBTQ community online and in media, denigrating trans people in particular as the G word, Walsh drew criticism more recently over a series of resurfaced remarks in which he refers to girls as young as 16 as being the most fertile. Yeah. We're looking at young girls over here. Yeah.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man. Now y'all going too far, man. You going too far, man.
Yeah. So he likes 16-year-olds. All right. Here we go. You see when you go down these rabbit holes, you get hit with spikes at times, and then you feel dirty when you finally hit the bottom. The intent was to make funny tweets, as Matt Walsh likes to trigger people, says Doomed, who declined to provide his real name, of course. We caused no financial harm, threatened anyone, nor ruined anything. It was merely, as he says, a few silly words on social media. A pin tweet on Walsh's profile. Here we go. Which was suspended a few hours after the hacks began, read, "My pronouns are that nigga." Now, again, this was Doomed, not Matt Walsh, but I'm sure Matt Walsh would not have taken it down. The hack was accomplished. Doom said using a technique known as SIM swapping. The attack typically involves hackers tracking a cellular provider into switching a victim's phone number to a SIM card the hackers control rather than the one in the victim's phone. Doomed, however, claims Walsh's phone was compromised with the help of an insider. So there's that. We don't really care about that, but yeah. So he likes little girls. Beer True Show, hello. Ask him to call Jewish people a slur to see what happens. He wouldn't dare. For all this tough guy talk, these white conservatives be doing. As soon as they say something about the sombreritos, they bitch. They turn bitch. They start meowing. They go on apology tours. But that's okay. That's okay. What next, family? Well, would you like to hear his thoughts on race mixing? Oh yeah, because you know we got to become the subject of it. Of course we did. And he didn't say these recently, family. He did not. He said this back on in the day in Delaware. Oh yes, I told you this rabbit hole goes down far. Tabernacle. We're on a page called WZBH Critics page. Now, this is a radio station in Delaware. Matt Walsh held a show there called Matt and Crank. God, that sounds white supremacist now, don't it? Fair use. Let's hear what he has to say about race mixing.
I'm kind of in that boat. I guess the problem with this story is that it's obvious that there's an immigration problem that we're all aware of. It's just nobody knew exactly how staggering the problem is until you realize which direction the overall culture is going to go. If there's a mass influx of another culture, that means that the problem, that the faucet isn't just leaking, it's just gushing. As far as an immigration problem is concerned, I don't have a problem with the whole race thing. I mean, we're all pretty much mutts in our own way. We've all been integrated in some place.
So the entire earth is made up of mutts. Yet we have found pockets of people that have not been exposed to the outside world. But according to these white supremacists, we're all mutts. They always go back to a dog reference now, don't they? But all right.
At some point in our history.
Yeah, but it's never a good thing when a type of being is
That's bad.
Extinct. It's no different than when a type of bird. You think of human beings like we're all one species. Pretend we're all birds, and each
they always go back to animals, don't they?
You have eagles and sparrows, and I hope we're eagles because they're just cooler than sparrows. And sparrows would have to be the French. Eagles and sparrows and vultures.
I think of the French as more like mockingbirds.
Mockingbirds, sparrows,
they'll attack out of nowhere, then they'll just run and hide for a few minutes.
Or I could see them maybe as just cranes, just kind of stuck up, just sitting. They can't really do anything. They just kind of hang out there. Flamingos, maybe.
There you go, flamingo.
So we're all different kind of birds. Now, when we hear about how a type of bird is going to be extinct, it's this big tragedy. And everyone says, oh, no, we're going to lose the Guatemalan whooping bird is going to be extinct by the year 2030 if we don't stop deforestation. And we all say it's not a good thing that we're going to lose this type of bird. Well, if I agree with you that it's not cool to lose a type of bird, then it's also not cool to lose a type of person. Okay, yeah, it's not because we're all. Well, it is because we're all dying off. It's yes, that's what the problem is. It's not that we're just as the Mexicans come in, we magically meld with them and become like them. It's not like that. It's that we are dying off, just like any other species of animal does. We're dying, and the way that animals, there's two ways that animals die off. Well, three ways. One's disease. Two is deforestation, or they lose their habitat. Which, okay, look at us. And then the third one is that they stop reproducing. And usually all three of those things happen kind of simultaneously. Hanging out, I don't know what that's all about. If I agree with you that it's not cool to lose.
Nah, he said that 12 years ago. Allegedly. I don't exactly know when he said this, but yeah, he said this. So they knew their numbers were going down years ago. They were trying to fake the funk. You love to see it.
It's not that we're just, as the Mexicans come in, we magically meld with them and become like them. It's not like that. It's that we are dying off, just like any other species of animal does. We're dying, and the way that animals, there's two ways that animals die off. Well, three ways. One's disease. Two is deforestation, or they lose their habitat. Which, okay, look at us. And then the third one is that they stop reproducing. And usually all three of those things happen kind of simultaneously. And that's what's happening with us. The extinction of the Anglo-Saxon race is just like that. Now the solution is pretty simple. It's just the solution is to freaking reproduce and have kids and have families.
But I know what you're saying, but it's a little bit different because I just think people are less racist than they used to be, and so they're not just going after I'm a white guy, I'm gonna be a white girl. No, people are just intermixing, and then so yes, people that are white, just straight up white Anglo-Saxon, they're dying off, but their children, I mean, they're mating with people that aren't necessarily Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah, obviously I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with mixed race marrying or anything like that.
Uh-huh. So you don't have a problem because you don't have to call them white. You can call them what you and your co-host agreed on. They're mutts. And we know what they do with that was fucked up. I shouldn't have said that. That was fucked up. I should not have said that they do things with dogs. That was on me. I apologize, family. That was wrong. I take that back. Those were not those. That phrase was not characteristic of myself or my platform. I apologize. I strive to do better. I strive to do better in case I run for politics.
I think that the tone of the country, its racist tendencies have diminished greatly over the last 50 years. I think you're just seeing less people like staying within the boundaries of their own race.
Torian, you know you're wrong for that. And you know you're wrong for that. You know you're wrong for that. No, you're not.
But hold up, I'm not talking. See, now people. I'm not talking about racism. I'm not talking.
No. What I'm saying is that that's why you're going to see a decline in just Anglo-Saxons living in the country.
Listen,
the next generation isn't going to be Anglo-Saxon. They're going to be a mix of all sorts of people.
Yeah, except that that's not the main reason why this is happening. The main reason is not, like I said, it's not that we're just mixing with them and becoming this sort of harmonious middle ground race.
Harmonious middle ground race. Do you hear this? I don't think he would have the same sentiment if he found out one of his kids married and procreated with a black person. I don't think that would be harmony. I think he disowned his kids. I'm just speculating. Latinos, fair skin, we can go there. Asians, they can get around it. Us?
That's not, yes, a little bit of that is happening, and that's fine. Go marry whatever type of person you want to marry. Whatever type of other gender person you want to marry. I'm fine with that. But that's not what's the reason why the Anglo-Saxon race is dying off is not because we're mixing with other races. That's one thing, but a little bit that's happening, but that's not the issue. That's a separate small issue. The main thing is that whether we're reproducing with Hispanics or black people or whatever, we're not reproducing. The Western white race is not having kids. They're just not. That's why before 10 years ago was like the average family was whatever it was, 2.3 kids. Now it's 1 point something. I mean, we've lost a whole kid in 10 years. And I mean, that you just can't survive when you refuse to have kids.
Sorry, Billy.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a commentary on that, Torian, but I know what would have happened if once I uploaded it. YouTube would have hit me for hate speech. I saw that trailer on YouTube and I said, what is he doing? So your career went in the toilet for talking about Cosby, and we came back on you for it. So now you're switching to mixed kids. You're going to exploit mixed children for a documentary. Yeah. We good. Do your thing, sir. Do your thing. I'm pretty sure the biracials are going to have a problem with it. Miriam R said exactly there wouldn't be no type of harmony anywhere. No, the purpose of them doing what they did back in the day when they would come on these shores and procreate with the people was to get rid of said race. That is basic race annihilation. Oh, I know. I know. I'm telling you, when that come out, mixed people gonna have a problem with that. They're gonna have a problem. They may be happy now. They're gonna have a problem with it because now I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let it come out. Maybe I'll do a review on it. Let it come out. Let's continue. He got a little bit more to say, and then we're gonna go on.
I'm sorry. We still have half a kid though hanging out. I don't know what that's all about.
Half a kid.
When you don't have kids and when you don't reproduce, and when you've decided that it's more important for you to just get into your career, and then when you're in your 40s, maybe you'll think about it. When you do that's a dying race. Dying races are old and impotent. And right now, the white race.
Funny thing, because your white feminists been doing that for decades, and now look, they coming out with articles every other day about, oh, I'm in my 40s and I've been living my best life, but I don't have children. And now they have to fake being resigned to that fact and happy with it when they're really not. Because you couple that with all these podcasts, and I say that in air quotes, with these chicks coming on saying, I'm a bad bee and I don't need no man. Okay. You're going to be what that woman is in that article within 15 years. You're going to be complaining about men. But it's y'all. Because at least with our women, they'll say that BS, but eventually they'll come up with a kid. But that's okay. You guys knew this and you guys played the game, but have fun.
At least the Western white race is old and impotent. And that's not a good thing. It's not because I don't want to see other races around here, but it's not a good thing when a whole group of people dies off because they refuse to have kids. It's not a sign of a healthy planet or a healthy group of people.
It's also not a good thing when y'all have an apparatus trying to take out another group of people. And then try to say, oh, they did this, that, and the third. So I'm going to justify them getting deleted.
Being that I am in that group, I do have some affinity to it. I don't want to see them die off. That's what I was talking about last week. I said, look, the Mexicans got it right. A lot of people in the Asian countries have it right. They realize that in order for their civilization and their culture to live on, because I do think that the Anglo-Saxon group is its own culture. I do believe it is. At least it should be. In order for that culture to live on, we got to have kids. So they're having kids, and they're way beating us in the kid having battle. Now, I know people look at, well, this white trash people have 10 kids and can't take care of them. Yeah, but a lot of people that say that have one kid and can't take care of him. Okay, yeah, you judgmental bastards. You have one kid, and he's in his room, plotting to shoot up a school. So yeah, go ahead and judge people that have a lot of kids. Why don't you?
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out. Like, do you think we're gonna be less
I hope you were talking about white kids.
prosperous because we're not having kids left and right? Or can't we just?
We're going to be not existent. Is what we're going to be. It's not an issue of prosperous. It's an issue of the culture, the identity is fading away.
Y'all forgot about the Most High, but enough about that. I think y'all got enough of the gist of what he was trying to foist off. Where my black women at? Where my black women at? Black women, are y'all in the thing? Y'all in the chat? If you're a black woman, put a one in there, or put a heart in the comment, because y'all up next. Quatman, good morning. I need all my black women to put the hearts in the chat. It might be like 2 or 3. I need y'all to put it in the chat. Cause he said something about y'all. Yes, he did. Not y'all directly, because he's too pussy to do it. But he took an indirect shot at y'all. Yes, he did. And we're gonna prove that he's wrong. 225 girl, good morning. Give it to us. Hey, I'm married. I'm fucking with you. That was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I need to behave. I'm a Scorpio. I'm sorry. But yes, black women, he took a veiled shot at you guys. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Tabernacle. We're on Newsweek. Matt Walsh slammed for saying Black Little Mermaid isn't scientific. He said this. Baby, he said this. He said this. What did he say? Political commentator Matt Walsh has been criticized for suggesting a new iteration of The Little Mermaid played by Halle Bailey is not scientifically accurate, but has since revealed he was joking and seemingly enjoyed the engagement with critters on Twitter. We're just going to call them critters. We're not even going to call them critics. We're going to call them critters. Here we go. Quote, with The Little Mermaid, can we just mention that from a scientific perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have someone with darker skin who lives deep in the ocean. Uh-huh. You gonna like this. My wife says she gets it. You got to do 10 laps around the complex. You sure about that? What if I told you I could prove it, that there were black people in the ocean? How would you bet you I could prove it? Okay. He said that, family. Okay. Let's prove him wrong, shall we? We're going to do this. And by the way, this is a confirmed website. So go ahead, you racist is you, and tell me that I'm wrong and it's not accurate. Tabernacle. We are on a site called oceanconservancy.org. You're asking yourself, why am I on this? Well, it says February 4th, 2021, a 4-minute read. Black history and ocean history are inextricably tied. Countless stories of the Black experience in America are connected to the sea. So this is about Black people on the ocean. So Black Americans, use this as what y'all call it, y'all claim against the government. Because y'all been on the oceans for decades before the Africans came over. Wait, where's the other one? And then another one, I'm going to show you that some of these, well, we're not going to go there yet. So y'all can use this site. Matter of fact, I am going to put this in the chat box so y'all can use this. But wait, you left. Here we go. You got to make breakfast. Here we go. Tabernacle from CNN Travel. Yes, Black mermaids exist along with many others from different cultures. Now, you could say to yourself, this may be an opinion article. Well, this woman, Kendall Trammell, did some research. Shout out to Haley Bailey on the front. Mermaid folklore exists in cultures all around the world, not just Disney's The Little Mermaid. We'll skip all that. Danish mermaids can be black because Danish people can be black, read the statement titled An Open Letter to the Poor Unfortunate Souls, a reference to one of the animated movie songs. Poor Unfortunate Souls? That's the name of the song? Oh, Lord. Say less. Mermaid legends have been passed down between generations that have represented different races as well as cultural and ethnic backgrounds from around the globe. These are just a few. Yamaya. Originating in the Yoruba religion, Yamaya or Yamoja is a West African water spirit known as the goddess of the ocean who's associated with positive qualities to help regulate social and spiritual practices. I think Nigeria needs to get back to that. I said it. Spelman College English professor R. Nicole Smith said some artists have depicted the African deity as a mermaid as her story is shared in Western culture. I've never heard of her, but okay, say less. Smith said it's important for people, especially young people, to see themselves represented in stories, whether it's fantasy or mythology, because it allows them the opportunity to imagine what their futures could be. Quote, most of us may not actually believe in mermaids, but it's what the mermaid represents, says Smith, who researches contemporary American literature and Afrofuturism. And Bailey as Ariel represents an opportunity for African Americans to be seen in mainstream media. Yes, Quatman. Very good. Black Latin America has Orisis. Yes. But we're not done. We're not done. Let me close this tab. We're not done. Mami Wata. The image of Mami Wata, also a water spirit, has taken on many forms, including a mermaid. Mami Wata represents the finer things of life, such as luxury goods. Her story began long before Europeans crossed the ocean to Africa's shores. When people saw the European ships' figureheads, Smithsonian National Museum of African American Art Deputy Director and Chief Curator Christine Creamer said they saw a powerful, long-haired. I don't think they wrote that right, but whatever. The African people linked her beauty and her relation to the Europeans to powers that could bring protection and wealth. Quote, these are depictions as imagery that came across as set into an existing set of beliefs, she said. These images that we look at as mermaids fit into an existing sort of broader belief of powerful water spirits, and then how that's picked up in the visual arts changes over time. Benton, a water deity, presided over Japan's geishas and educated classes that later adopted her as a goddess of prosperity. So I guess this is the Japanese version. Ayara. That's Brazil's Lady of the Lake and associated with the ancient Tupi people. So we have two versions of black mermaids, but according to them, y'all can't have black mermaids. We can't have black mermaids. All right. Interesting. I wonder if the Tupi people, they look melanated. I looked them up. They look melanated. All right. But there's that. So he's already 0 for 2 on this. Matt Walsh, you're a racist, sir. And we're going to stand on that. Yeah! We're going to stand on that. Oh, Quamon, I know. That's why when it makes $1 billion, they're still trashing it on these white supremacist platforms. When it makes $1 billion, they're going to shut up. They're going to claim Disney bought all these, like $500 million worth of tickets to sell it. Man, they're going to find the videos of these large groups of black girls going in to watch this movie. And they're going to say it looked like, they're going to come out with some racist stuff. But let's move on. Let's move on. For somebody who doesn't like black people that much, he sure got a lot to talk. Now, I kind of messed up. I was supposed to show y'all why this show is actually happening. That was my fault. The reason this show happened was because this morning when I woke up, I saw a tweet. And again, this was from a black conservative, ironically. Tabernacle. It's kind of long. So it says conservatives, I mean actual conservatives. This is why we lose the ability to win black voters. Now, again, this is a black man saying this. You are not supposed to say any other racial slur either. It's really weird that this is an argument conservatives want to have before an election where we actually have an opportunity to win black voters just because Biden has done so badly. No. Let me correct you here, sir. The reason why you guys don't win black voters is because you don't come talk to us. See, you said the quiet part out loud. You think because Biden's done so badly, we're going to side with the Republicans. We're going to side with you conservatives. Yes, we're socially conservative, but you guys have never extended an overture to come talk to us. Why should we feel obligated to help you? Suffice to say, most of us would rather stay out of it. Y'all don't want to talk about reparations and have a meaningful conversation. Y'all don't want to talk about anti-hate legislation. Y'all don't want to talk about getting Black America right unless it's something that you can control, but you expect us to play God, family, country. We're not doing that. Some of us are religious. Yes, that's fine. Family, we got that taken care of. What has this country done for us? That's what the Black Americans are going to ask y'all, and y'all won't ask that. Y'all won't answer them questions. Y'all come with, y'all's talking points. By the way, also, the reason why we don't talk to you conservatives is because you have a group of Black conservatives out there making your messaging look suspect. When you have Black conservatives telling their audiences full of white people that they see nothing wrong with Jordan Neely getting killed. They saw nothing wrong with Tyree Nichols getting killed. Hell, even one of your coon class over there, them Black conservatives said that there was all them cops, all of them shouldn't go to jail. You had another one that said Jalen Walker deserved what he got. I just did one last week who said that Black Americans are dumbasses and all they do is go to parties and have fights. This is how y'all allow these talking heads who have big platforms to spew out these messages. Now, when you have an opportunity, when it's an election season, you don't call them out, but you lament the fact that Black folks ain't gonna come over to your side to get Biden out of office. Y'all should have came to us November 6, 2022, after the midterms, and y'all should have broke bread. It's been damn near 6 months. Y'all went right back to celebrating Biden not getting everything he wanted, bitching that Trump didn't get all his appointees, and you still didn't come talk to Black folks. Now y'all trying to talk to Black folks 18 months before the election. Fuck you. We're going to look out for ourselves from now on. You conservatives can go bitch with the white folk and the liberals. Y'all can have fun with that. We're going to dictate how this election's going to go, and we're not going to need you. You had an opportunity, like I said, November 2022. You had an opportunity during the 2020 election cycle. I told y'all, get down here and talk to us. As a show of solidarity, come down here and talk to us. That would scare the hell out of the Democrats. No, you assholes want to sit up there, bitch about coffee venereal disease and bitch about Biden almost getting in. Y'all took your eyes off the prize, and the biggest weapon you had, you said we're not going to use it. So you lost. Figure it out. We don't need you. Screw you. But let's continue because I ran it enough. It's almost like you're trying to make sure that we not only can't capitalize on the gains Trump made, but lose those too. There's no way such an intelligent person, that's debatable as hell, could possibly not understand that this is an incredibly stupid thing to argue with all the serious issues going on right now. Sir, as a Black person, the fact that you quote tweeted this and wrote this paragraph, and you're still trying to give this man a pass, because this is what you just said. You gave this man a pass. This paragraph should have said, I condemn Matt Walsh for saying what he said in this video. You're trying to excuse it. because he's a conservative. This is the problem. This is why people like you won't call out Candace Owens on the regular. This is why y'all won't call out Fakem. This is why y'all won't call out the Black conservative perspective. This is why y'all won't call out people like Mark Robinson. This is why y'all won't call out people like Zahavier Durousseau. This is why y'all won't call out people like Amala Ekpenobi, because y'all see them as Black and y'all see them as soldiers. And you think your conservative Black voice is going to get limited. I need y'all to start calling them out. Y'all got to clean up your own house. We're not going to do it for you. We're going to call them out and show them that they're not for us. Y'all need to stop hitching your wagons to these people. But I'm going to continue because I ran it again. The crazy part is that it's never directed at Jews, Latinos, Indians, Native Americans, or Asians. The entire crop of Real Daily Wire does this stupid stuff. Isn't it odd that most average voters can easily understand what I've written here and how cringy it is, but all the Black conservative activists repeat these arguments knowing the reaction they'll get because you won't call them out? But that is exactly why they all do it. The reaction is fame or infamy, which in today's society is pure gold. If you think it's a good idea to be an asshole because, well, facts don't care about your feelings, you spell feelings wrong. Call your wife fat and past their prime. See how that ish works out. It solves nothing. Convinces nothing to change their position. Advances conservatism as an ideology and movement, not one single inch. No, it's right where it needs to be, sir, because y'all won't change it. Lord, help us not to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory yet again. Why did he say all this? Because he said this. Mr. Matt Walsh said this. Fair use.
And it is, again, a decision that no one can logically or morally defend. You know, the idea that there's a word that cannot be uttered under any circumstance is completely insane. And it is not something that there is no other word in the English language or any other language in existence that we have those kinds of rules for.
BS. I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS.
Oh, I know I don't think I see what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking.
Sir, I have the word right in my head, but I can't say it per YouTube rules. We'll just say it starts with the letter K. And that's reserved for Jewish people. Go outside and say that word in front of Jewish people. See if you don't get jumped. This will be then once you say it. Please go outside and say that to him and record it. Because that'll be the last time you're ever on social media. That'll be the last time we even acknowledge your existence. You'll be where them veterans are in LA. Trying to beg for a spot on somebody's podcast or somebody's little bullshit YouTube channel, try to bring your profile back up. Please go ahead. Say it. You want to say the N-word so bad, say it. Please go to Black people and say it and stand on the consequences that come with it.
There's other words that are slurs. There are words that we would consider vulgarity and profanity.
Which the N-word is both.
And all kinds of words that I don't say on this show because we try not to use profanity and vulgarity on the show. Words that I don't think you should use, words that you shouldn't use around kids and so on, and all kinds of words like this. But there's no other word that we would say, well, under no circumstance at all can it even be uttered, even in the context of quoting somebody.
Correct. Just like the K word. They block it out.
And certainly there's no other word where we would say, well, judging on your skin pigment, if it's this shade, you can't say it at all under any circumstance. But if it's a little bit of a darker shade, then say it all the time, and it's totally fine. So there's no context where it can be said over here. There is no context where it can't be said over here. And we are going to decide that based on how dark your skin is.
Again, please, sir, you can say the N-word all you want. I just want you to mix it in with the K word one time. Please go outside and say that. But it's funny that you're saying that in the studio because you know you would never go touch concrete and say that. Especially in front of no black people. Because even the most staunch, buck dancing black conservative, you say that N-word in front of them, they gonna kick your ass. Maybe. The bare minimum, they'll yell at you for saying it and try to claim they're not one of them. But yeah, family, he said that. Yes, he did. But he wasn't done. No, he wasn't done. Did you think he was done? Did y'all think he was done? No. Family, Tabernacle. Media Matters for America. Daily Wire host. Why exactly is it a negative stereotype that a lot of black people like chicken and waffles? A stereotype. Stereotype. Because white people don't get down on chicken and waffles, right? Let me guess, because a black person invented it. That's a stereotype. I think this is a proxy for him saying watermelon, but all right. He couldn't say chicken and watermelon. He somebody we went to see him, so he had to say chicken and waffles. All right.
All right, what else do we got here? Okay, one other.
The fact that he's on the computer having this lined up is hilarious to me. This actually became part of his newscast. This is funny.
I want to mention one. I've had this sitting on deck for a few days, so I'm just gonna.
There you go. He's been thinking about this for days. Oh, Lord.
Mention it. This is from Fox News. A New York middle school is apologizing after serving students with a meal on the first day of Black History Month that was deemed to be culturally insensitive. Administrators at Nyack Middle School say that the hot lunch menu was changed by the vendor without their knowledge on February 1st, the first day of Black History Month, to include chicken and waffles with a watermelon dessert, which the school's principal called an unfortunate situation. We're extremely disappointed by this regrettable situation. Apologize to the entire Nyack community for the cultural insensitivity displayed by our food service providers. I'm disappointed that Aramac would serve items that differed from the published monthly menu, especially items that reinforce negative stereotypes concerning the African-American community. And then also there's going to be, I think, cultural sensitivity and all of the sorts of things, and there are all apologies and all the rest of it. Here's what I'm trying to figure out. So it reinforces negative stereotypes. Why exactly is it a negative stereotype that a lot of Black people like chicken and waffles? Why is that negative? It's just, is it inaccurate? Like, it is true that you tend to find chicken and waffle restaurants and those sorts of dishes in Black communities more than in white communities. Why is that a problem to notice? I like chicken and waffles too. It's a great. It makes sense. It's a great dish. I actually hadn't had it. I had it for the first time like a year ago. I'd never had chicken and waffles before. And
that's the I have a Black friend rationale. One Black friend.
And then I had it the first time a year ago. I'm like, this is, and it always sounded a little bit weird to me. Like, how do you find chicken and waffles? That's amazing. Then I had them, like, this is amazing. I love this. So it's a great food. It's a great dish. I think it's accurate to say that it tends to be more popular and prevalent in the Black community. I'm not sure if historically it was first.
Okay. Can I interject here for a second? I'm sorry. I could be wrong here, but I don't think many Black households make chicken and waffles on the regular. I could be wrong. Y'all tell me. Y'all are the soil. Y'all tell me. There's so many things we could eat for breakfast. I don't think we're just gonna be like, listen, I'm consistently, I'm gonna have chicken and waffles in the rotation. Most of us don't eat fried chicken for breakfast. That's for the brunch crowd. That's a brunch thing. We don't equate chicken and waffles with breakfast. I could be wrong. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. I don't go to a regular restaurant. They have chicken and waffles on the menu. If they're going to give you fried chicken, they're going to be like, what 2 sides you want? You want chicken and waffles, you got to wait till Saturday or Sunday. Or if you find a breakfast spot that might have it. Thank you, Black Mode. And you seem new, but thank you. Chicken and waffles is a restaurant dish. Thank you. That's for the brunch crowd. We're not making that for breakfast. We don't even think about making fried chicken for breakfast. We ain't got that kind of time. So Vanguard, hello. That's not breakfast. It's not. It's brunch food. 225 guard, certainly don't. I don't even eat waffles like that. I'm more of a rotisserie chicken person myself, even though I like fried chicken. This is them. They get... This is them. They try our food and try our culture, and then they think they're an expert on it after one experience. Who is really eating chicken and waffles every day, or at least once a week? Who is doing this? Young Nine, hello. F with omelets. Omelets, porridge, pancakes. Most of us don't even make waffles, let alone homemade ones. We may make it once in a while when we're feeling frisky. I dare say white people eat more waffles than we do. They get down on some Eggos. If anything, we make sandwiches for breakfast. Y'all make y'all egg sandwiches. I don't like eggs, but I'm just saying. At least with us in Jamaica, we ain't eating no chicken from Jamaica. We ain't eating no chicken and waffles. We eating the Atkins saltfish and callaloo. We get the hominy. We get the cornmeal porridge. That's what we eat. If you put chicken and waffles from somebody in Jamaica, they don't try to hide you. Yeah. Let me let him continue.
Design or you know, if the first person to come up with the chicken and waffles dish was a black person, I don't know if that's the case.
Do some research. You got the computer right there. You could look it up. It was a black man that came up with it. But go ahead, go off.
But who cares? Why is it automatically offensive? What a negative stereotype. What's negative about it?
It's negative because y'all are tying it to us. That's what makes it negative, and you're demonizing it. That's when it makes it negative. Just like when we go in and say y'all food is unseasoned, y'all get pissed off. We created unseasoned food to you. When you attach a stereotype to a certain group, they're going to get offended. Just like y'all push that watermelon lie when we know white people eat more watermelon than black folk. White people consume the most fried chicken in this country, not just because of their numbers, but because they like it. Black folk don't even eat fried chicken like that. But y'all let drive-through and fast food restaurants skew your views.
This is what we've done. We've decided that every stereotype is automatically negative simply because it's a stereotype.
Yes, that's y'all fault.
But that's not the case. A stereotype is it's a generality.
Oh Lord, we got a Bethany Mandel in the house. We got a Bethany Mandel in the house.
Nigga, can I fight for
We got a Bethany Mandel. He's about to explain the definition of a stereotype. Let's listen. We're going to go back a little bit. I want to hear this.
That every stereotype is automatically negative simply because it's a stereotype. But that's not the case. A stereotype is a generality.
You have a laptop, save yourself. You have a laptop there, save yourself.
Made about groups. It's like it's speaking in a kind of general term about a group. And that is not now there can be negative stereotypes. There are things you could say about groups that are not accurate, that are not true, that could be degrading or offensive, but not everything is. Just because you're making a general statement and saying, you know, people in this group generally like this or do this or whatever. It can be true. It's okay to notice it. But this is the conditioning. This is the conditioning they want. They're telling us that we're not allowed to notice things, or at least we need to ask permission. There are certain things we're allowed to notice and other things we're not allowed to notice, and we need to get permission first. And the fact that the unacceptable things, the things that we're not allowed to notice, the fact that this is so arbitrarily determined, that's part of the game here. It's part of the, as I always talk about, this kind of societal game of Simon Says. So you are allowed to speak in general terms about Black people. That's what Black History Month is all about.
Oh, God.
But you get on the floor for this clown. He's a bum. He's trash. And you know it. And every time you bring him up, I'm going to let the world know exactly what he is.
No, he did not just say that. Play it again.
So you are allowed to speak in general terms about Black people. That's what Black History Month is all about.
How is speaking about Black people generally, how is that the definition of Black History Month? Are you...
You're allowed to talk about things like Black history. So there are, and if you're to say, well, we're celebrating Black history, we're celebrating Black culture, that'd be an okay thing to say.
Yeah, because you dumbasses don't want to acknowledge it all year. So we only have 28 days in a year, 29 on a leap year to talk about the contributions that Black Americans have done in this country because y'all don't want to acknowledge it ever again. And y'all put up coons like Austin Cheng and Amala Ekpenobi talking about they want to get rid of Black History Month. Maybe if you taught history correctly, not only will your children be smarter, but you would actually acknowledge that Black people actually contributed to the reason why you are sitting in that studio right now. And the advancements they made, since y'all want to diminish them. It would be nice, but we know you're not going to do that because it would make you and your race look inferior.
You're allowed to say that. We're going to celebrate Black culture for Black History Month. Okay, you can do that.
You celebrate white culture every day.
So you're speaking in general terms now. But then what is Black culture exactly?
Here we go.
We're allowed to celebrate it, but what qualifies?
Here we
Especially
go.
when you get into things like food. What are you allowed to say is part of that scene? That's when the rules become extremely arbitrary. And there's just no way, you, as a reasonable, rational person, there's no way to know, well, I'm allowed to notice that that this food tends to be a part of that, but not this food. That food's wrong. We can't bring that up.
Who started barbecue, sir? Oh, y'all don't want to have that conversation with me. Who started barbecue, sir? Who perfected barbecue that everybody loves today? You don't want to go there with us, sir. When y'all were giving the slaves those offcuts and they had to make something out of it, yeah, y'all don't want to go there. Shall we talk about the music? How Black American music has influenced everything around the world, sir? Guess what? I'm going to hit y'all with a perfect example. We all know the Police. We know Roxanne. Do we not? Yes, we do. How come Cameron's song, What Means the World to You, is more famous than that song? Or is Sting's song that Puffy sampled and paying that man $2,000 a day? How come I'll Be Missing You is more famous than that song? I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. Ed Sheeran just came out of court yesterday, winning a copyright infringement trial. What music did he use that people were accusing him of allegedly? Marvin Gaye. Y'all gatekeep us out of all your music genres that black folks created. But then, like last year at the Country Music Awards, y'all got pissed off that they had some of the highest ratings they ever had because a black man hosted it and they had black women up for awards in categories. And then I go look at these black women and their categories, and they have a large legion of white fans. Y'all's gospel music that you stole from black people, y'all don't touch souls. Y'all can yell in unison all you want. I could pass by a small black church and I could feel the vibration on the concrete. That's black culture, sir. Black culture has permeated everything in the world, including you can go to Japan and find soca clubs and reggae clubs. Them girls are spray tanning themselves to look like our women. K-pop, which is basically a whole bunch of Korean people trying to be black bands and black singing groups from the 70s. Them K-pop girls are trying to be Destiny's Child and failing at it miserably. But all right. That's black culture. Well, you're confused on what black culture is. Black culture gave Cadillac some of its biggest sales in history back in the early 2000s. The alcohol industry would not be advanced as it is without black culture. She went to go get the clothes. Yes. She'll be back soon. That's black culture, sir. Black culture, if you look on what you're wearing, that's black culture, sir. When y'all was still sitting up there with shirts and ties, we said, nah, we just gonna take the blazer and a nice shirt and we gonna go outside. We made that cool, sir. The way you're doing your podcast, we made that cool. Hell, one of your own people admitted it. I played this about a month ago. Y'all were in the podcasting game for years. We put the soul in the podcast game. Now everybody's doing it the way we're doing it. Because remember, we were the ones who started the multiple people in the studio. We started that. We started going on the street doing interviews. Then y'all started copying it. We're not doing this. For a bunch of motherfuckers who try to tell you, oh, you don't know your history. Why are we selling black history? Black history is the reason you exist. Black history is the reason why your ancestors and your predecessors from other countries can come over here. That's black history, sir. Black history is the reason why y'all cannot, and I repeat, cannot be deported if you were born here. Black Americans fought for that. That's Black history, since you need a crash course on what Black history is. I mean, hell, you got a laptop right there. You could go do some research, but of course, you ain't gonna like what you find, but all right. You have fun with that, sir. But then you said this, sir. A month later, you said this. Tabernacle. Daily Wire's Matt Walsh. All of us today would be in a worse spot if slavery never existed at all across the entire globe. Let's see what you said on this.
Of course, that's only one argument against the reparations idea. There are many more and better ones. I've outlined most of them on the show at various points in the past. But today I'd like to talk about and call attention to a different argument against reparations, one that is, by our culture's standards, rather unspeakable, which doesn't mean that it's wrong. In fact, it normally means precisely the opposite. A guy named Wilford Riley, who's a college professor with a decent social media following, who also happens to be a Black man, made this point on Twitter yesterday. Here's what he tweeted. An awkward historical fact, which genuinely complicates the reparations debate, is that Black Americans are just obviously better off on average than we would have been had our ancestors never come to the United States.
What do y'all think about that tweet? He said, an awkward historical fact, which generally complicates the reparations debate, is that Black Americans are just obviously better off on average than we would be had our ancestors never come to the United States. What y'all think about that? I'm gonna give y'all a second to ponder that.
Pointing out something this self-evidently true isn't justifying slavery, which was obviously terrible for slaves and existed globally in 1850. But no one arguing for that $5 million today in LA is or has ever been a slave. Pro-POC affirmative action has been the law since '67. Now, he's not the first person to make this point. I remember hearing Dinesh D'Souza articulating the same.
You brought up the anti-racist Dinesh D'Souza. Okay, you're already qualified to be out of this conversation, but go ahead. We're going to allow you to expose yourself.
Point years and years ago. And the only thing that makes the point controversial is the insistence by disingenuous idiots to misconstrue it. They will say, as was referenced, that you're justifying slavery or defending it, perhaps even advocating for more of it. But that is obviously not the point. The point is that the push for reparations rests on the notion that Black Americans are in a considerably worse spot today than they would have been had their ancestors never been brought here as slaves. They say that we must repair this damage that Black Americans are currently experiencing, they say, to the tune of $5 million or $7.5 million or maybe $75 million. Black Americans today are the furthest removed from that historic atrocity and yet should be paid the most in restitution for it. That's the claim. But this is a false notion. In fact, it seems rather clear that Black Americans are doing better here today than they would be had their ancestors generations ago never been brought to these shores. We can prove this point by simply asking which...
Number one, your claim is wrong because there have been Black Americans here before the Africans got here. I don't know why do y'all have the evidence online. I literally put a link in my own chat room that shows that Black Americans were sailing the shores in the late 16th century. They were already here. They were already here. But even you want to put the African slaves into it, okay. This is unpaid labor the government owes. It's not that hard to comprehend. You have glasses, allegedly, as a stereotype, people with glasses are supposed to be smarter. You're not helping that stereotype, sir.
Which African country anyone asking for reparations would prefer to live in? The answer, of course, is none of them. Now, you might offer the rebuttal that if slavery never existed, if we're reimagining history without that institution at all, then Africa itself would be in a better place and better shape. And maybe indeed Black Americans would be better off there. But this seems highly unlikely. And it also ignores the fact that Africans participated in slavery and the slave trade as much as they were victims of it.
And they're going to pay off. Move on.
Mention, if we're reimagining the world without African slavery, then we have to also imagine it without all other forms of global slavery, since African slavery was merely one variety, one offshoot.
African slavery is the biggest genocide in the world's history. Y'all know that. African slavery built the society we live on. You know that. I'll say that again. African slavery built the society that you are fortunate to live in. African slavery mixed with the Black Americans that were here created 2023 and the advancements that we enjoy on the daily.
Of this global institution. And now we have totally, at that point, rewritten the history of the world in a way so dramatic that it's absolutely impossible to say which individuals today would end up worse or better in this alternate universe. I mean, if you go back in time and get rid of slavery.
Iron Will, they actually did profit off of it. Not all of them, but just the quote unquote leaders of these tribes that sold to the Europeans. They got favors in gold and silver and other things. I get what you're saying. Not all of Africa profited off of it, but some of them got favors. And they got to pay off too. Everybody. Nobody's exempt.
Slavery from the entire world, you have just, it's impossible to say what the world looks like right now. Actually,
it would be a bunch of caves, but y'all effing dogs. That's wrong. I did it again. I'm so sorry. Those are not, my comments are not reflective of myself or the Beyond Borders media platform. I'm sorry. Now he said he doesn't understand what he shudders to think. We'll paraphrase. He shudders to think what the world would look like without slavery. Okay, fine. Let's just say the African slaves didn't come over. This would be y'all every day, all day on social media. Because unfortunately, with Black Americans and the Africans that you brought over, we refined you white folk. Yes, we did. And we've been doing it for decades. This would be y'all if y'all didn't come hang with us. Y'all didn't get the game.
We don't keep no bitches around us, man. We stay bitchless, nigga.
That be y'all.
Actually, what we can say is that we'd all end up worse. All of us today would be in a worse spot if
smelly at least.
Slavery never existed at all across the entire globe. Because a change that significant would likely shift the course of events in a way that would mean none of us would even exist. It would be a world full of other people who are not us. So I know that I benefit today from virtually everything my ancestors did and everything did to them, because if any of that had not happened, there's a very good chance that I never would have come into being. And
are you admitting that you're a descendant of a slave owner? Is that what you're saying?
As I see it, I benefit from being if the other option is not being. So where do we land after all of this? It's absurd. Once you get into this conversation of, well, let's get rid of this whole huge part of history and then try to figure out the equation of who's better off, it becomes immediately ridiculous. And what does that mean for the reparations discussion? Well, it means that the discussion is totally incoherent and stupid. It means that any reparations plan is an arbitrary policy resting on a whole series of totally unsupported and wildly speculative assumptions about the way things would be right now if they weren't the way that they actually are. And the best we can say about that assumption, the assumption that blacks in this country are worse off today because of slavery, is that it is a baseless theory. But what we can really say about it is that it's a dubious conclusion based on fanciful and pointless hypotheticals.
Bullshit. The claim for reparations is Black American descendants of chattel slavery versus the U.S. government. All you white folk that don't understand that, please shut the fuck up about reparations, because it's proving to us that you do not have the intellectual fortitude and the intellectual capacity to understand what the claim is. Even though y'all have laptops in front of you and smartphones and y'all won't do a lick of research. We need y'all to shut up. Because y'all wouldn't be saying none of these talking points if it was y'all that had the claim against the government. Y'all would have been sicking your shark lawyers on the government every day, all day, twice on Sunday, 4 times on a holiday. And y'all would be bitching at the government every day to pay off. And black folk wouldn't care, because that's between y'all and the government. But now that that's correctly black folks that are descendants of chattel slavery and who were here before everybody else got here versus the government, everybody got to have an opinion. Which is fine, but if you don't do research on your opinion, you sound stupid. Like most of you conservatives do every day, all day. So there you go. Now he's one of the conflators. Yes, he is. All right, Matt. We're gonna play your game. Matt. You said something about black folks in their neighborhoods. Yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did. Hey, give me the line one time. Say, cut the check. Thank you. This is on your website, sir. Oh, yes. Police officers aren't the ones destroying the black community. Here we go. Let's hear his rationale, because he went outside, because he's so smart, because he wears glasses. He did the research. Yes, he did. He talked to black people. Yes, he did. Now we know I'm lying, but we're just going to say, yes, he did. Let's move down. Why is my... Uh-oh. My thing's about to start. Damn, my thing's going to go out. Okay, I got to charge my mouse. Give me 1 second. Charge my mouse. Can't get it in the hole. Pause. There we go. All right. Talks about Ferguson. Where is it? Here we go. Still, there are a few general issues that have sprung forth from the looting and mayhem. This is in 2020, and I'd like to address them each individually. Hating all cops because some of them are abusive isn't any more justifiable than hating all black people because some of them protesting an officer-involved shooting by burning down their own neighborhood. Wrong. We don't like the police because the police see their fellow police doing things to black folks, and them police that are supposed to be the good police don't say nothing. They play the blue line, the blue wall crap. They play that crap. So we have a healthy distrust for all police. I'm as critical as anyone when police officers take advantage of their power. Bullshit. I think some cops are arrogant jerks, and I think law enforcement in general is becoming overly militarized. I'm also a huge proponent of civil liberties and a passionate defender of the Fourth Amendment. That said, a just and civilized society needs laws, and laws need to be enforced, and police officers are entrusted with that noble and necessary task. Bullshit. They're to protect the public trust and to guard businesses. They're not for the individuals. Y'all keep saying that. If a thorough investigation reveals this particular officer to be guilty of murder, by all means, arrest and prosecute him. But whether he is or isn't, only a ridiculous fool would use this incident or an incident like it to disparage all police officers everywhere. Be stereotyped. Enter Mark Lamont Hill, spelled his name wrong, who took to Twitter to share this insight. A black man in America is killed every 28 hours by police or vigilantes. That, not rioting, is domestic terrorism. His numbers might be accurate, but what sort of lunatic or liar would interpret them this way? Every time a black man is killed by a cop, he's the victim of terrorism. Yes, domestic terrorism. Yes. Yes. But for you, Matt Walsh, we're going to do you a favor. We're going to look up the definition of the word terrorism. Here we go. Are y'all ready, folks? Are y'all ready for the definition of terrorism?
Get that water. He about to get this work. He about to get this work.
Tabernacle via Britannica.com. Terrorism. The calculated use of violence to create a general climate of fear in a population and thereby to bring about a particular political objective. Terrorism has been practiced by political organizations with both rightist and leftist objectives, by nationalistic and religious groups, by revolutionaries, and even by state institutions such as armies, intelligence services, and police. So for once, I'm actually going to agree with Mark Lamont Schill. Police use terrorism. So Matt Walsh, would you like to apologize to Mark Lamont Schill? The definition is right there for you, sir. We're going to highlight it. We're going to highlight it one time. So even White Britannica knows that the police are terrorists. Potentially. Miriam said, indeed, it didn't just benefit the kings and their generals, also benefited their tribe and villages. This is towards those who are guilty. Not all of Africa, they will pay reparations to. Yes. But okay, we go back. So cops either shouldn't try to stop black men from committing crimes, or they should, but if they meet lethal resistance, they should run away or surrender and die. No, you're supposed to de-escalate. But they want to play the game of neutralize the threat because it makes them feel bigger. I actually want to see these cops square up like they used to do. They used to square up on people. They don't want to square up no more. Such an enormous dose of idiocy in that statement, but it's a notion echoed by many people across the country. The news about Mike Brown's death prompted a tidal wave of F the police sentiments from black and white liberals alike. Yes, because they let his body stay on the ground for hours. That's why everybody was outraged. Just like everybody was outraged with George Floyd because they watched that man for 9 minutes get his life snuffed out. Even though y'all wanted to run around and say that was a police procedure. Just like with Jordan Neely, they saw Daniel J. Perry, allegedly that's his name, choke out that man for 15 minutes with 2 people holding him, holding his arms and holding his neck. Yeah. And yes, we know about the tether that was in the back just watching. Because he was afraid to jump in because if the cops found him, he probably was illegal and he'd get sent back home. So yeah, that's why people were outraged. Meanwhile, let any one of these cop-hating cowards find themselves in a precarious spot and watch how quickly they dial 911. No. See, what we do is we assess the situation and we don't go places where we can't control the situation. See, thanks to y'all and y'all domestic terrorists, aka the police, we have to be on survival mode 24/7, 365. Criticize bad cops all you want, but police do important work under immense stress and pressure. Why is that? Why is it that we are supposed to understand and empathize with looters and rioters, but we can't even give the slightest bit of slack to men and women who put themselves in the hardest way to keep peace and order in our society? We give them the slack, and then they prove to us why they shouldn't have it. Why are we quick to listen to the plight of the carjacker and the drug dealer, so willing to put their behavior in context, yet we fail miserably to comprehend the fact that cops, particularly cops in high crime areas, are dealing with domestic abusers, addicts, thieves, murderers, pimps. We're still on pimps because we don't have white pimps. All right, say less. And the various other dregs of humanity on a daily basis. When was the last time a black person was giving context to what they did? willingly by the media. When was the last time this happened? Look how long they suppressed Chris Dorner's story, and we found out why he really did it. He exposed corruption in LAPD. They had to bring up Jordan Neely's past because they didn't want to do it. It took us in the black grassroots and people online to say that that guy was no threat. Oscar Grant wasn't a threat. He was protecting his people. And he was handcuffed sitting on a platform. Sandra Bland had a cigarette in her mouth. How was she a threat? She was on a back road going to her mother's house. How was she a threat? But yeah, white folks are domestic abusers, addicts, thieves, murderers, pimps, and various other dregs of humanity on a daily basis. Not y'all. Y'all are just the model race, right? This might take a toll on your psyche after a while, perhaps make you jaded, cynical, even bitter. I know it would to me, and I know the police who managed to be decent in spite of it all deserve an immense amount of respect. It's childish and absurd to hate all police. Yes, cops may have a contentious rapport with people in the inner city. That's actually, it's always back to the inner city. Okay. But that's because they are law enforcers, and inner cities have more than their fair share of lawbreakers. Why do we pin this strained relationship squarely on the police and never spread the blame to people who chose to commit crimes? Maybe if you left us alone and let us build our own economies, there would be no crime. Charles County in Maryland, PG County in Maryland, black folks don't commit crime over there, and y'all importing the crime. Baldwin Hills, there's barely any crime up there, if any. Atlanta, for the most part, Atlanta people will tell you, Atlanta was a very safe city. The import of people made the city go down. Now y'all mentioning them with Chicago. Chicago's crime is not only done by black folks, it's also done by the illegals, but y'all never want to admit that. Y'all never want to talk about them Latino gangs. You never want to talk about them white folk. Never. We can hold cops responsible for their mistakes without descending into this sort of juvenile art anarchist madness. A healthy and rational society respects both the law and those entrusted with beholding it. All right, whatever. He's still talking. Only thing causes looting, the greed and selfishness of the people doing the looting. Yeah, because we don't see white folk looting. I'm not even going to read all that bullshit. What else did he say? Of course, you had to put a picture of a black guy because white people weren't out there looting. All right. The best solutions to any community's problems can be found within. Right. That's called neighborhood watches. I actually agree with them on that. Neighborhood watches. Let us control our own. But then you're going to see how irrelevant the cops are with us. And y'all don't want that. Here we go. Over 60% of black children grow up in homes without fathers. They love bringing that up. 70% of black kids are born to unwed mothers. They love bringing that up. These two numbers actually went down, but they never want to bring that up. Black people are killed by other black people much more frequently than by cops. Correct. And white people are killed by other white people, Asians, Latinos. Yes. And white people are killed much more frequently by cops. They're number 2 behind killing each other. Black babies are murdered in the womb at such a pace that now in cities like New York, a black child has a better chance of being aborted than born. Kind of like white girls in college, right? You didn't want to bring that up. All right. Oh, yes, family. He's a staunch racist. He's a staunch racist. We got more, though, family. We got more. We got more. Let me make sure this is the right one. Where is it? Take this down. Is it this one? I think I played. Yeah, I played this one already. You can go. Let me see something. They're actually trying to give him praise because he defended black people, saying that black people can actually get IDs. All right, whatever. Which one should I play first? We'll play this one first before we get to the Jordan Neely comments that he made. Yes, he did. He could not stay out of it. Tabernacle. Now, he tweeted this January 27th. Jamel Hill wrote, I need so many people to understand this regarding Tyree Nichols. Several of the police officers who murdered Freddie Gray were black. The entire system of police is based on white supremacist violence. We see people under the boot of a pressure carrier's water all the time. And that is in response to Bree Newsom Bass. He said, diversifying the police force doesn't end racism because racism is inherent in the organization of the institution's daily operation. Racism is what policing is. So Matt Walsh took Jamel Hill's tweet, quote tweeted it, and said, the systemic racism superstition is unfalsifiable. If white people kill someone, it's white supremacist violence. If black people kill someone, it's white supremacist violence. Literally everything confirms Jamel's theory and nothing can ever disconfirm it. That's the scam. I'm sorry. Maybe I missed it that day being offline, but when have we ever blamed white people for a black person killing another black person? When did we do this? Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. I've never heard a black person kill another black person and we blame white supremacist violence. I've never heard of this. Someone said that's just your white fragility talking. Systemic racism theory. Heads I win, tails you lose. He put up this picture. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. I think that's Trayvon. I think that might be. It's either. Is that Eric Garner? That might be Eric Garner. Yeah, Mike Brown. Yeah. Sure, sir. Sure. But then we get to this. Matt Walsh yesterday weighed in on Tyree Nichols.
Happened. What actually happened, as far as we know at this point. On Monday afternoon, a 30-year-old mentally ill vagrant named Jordan Neely, who also happens to be black, boarded a subway train in New York City and began harassing the passengers. Witnesses described Neely as hostile and erratic.
Which you see on the train there every day. There's at least one, but okay.
He was apparently yelling and carrying on, screaming that he's, quote, ready to die and, quote, doesn't mind going to jail and, quote, will hurt anyone on this train. This was not Neely's first foray into this territory. He was a man with 44 prior arrests with charges ranging from assault to drug-related offenses. He also had an open warrant for a felony assault dating back to 2021. That was an open warrant at the time that this all happened. Multiple people on social media have since reported that their own, they've had their own alleged run-ins with Neely, who, according to these reports, was known to harass and threaten passengers. In other words,
you forgot to also say that he's had many interactions with people, including the borough president, Mark Levine, and he said he was very pleasant, especially when he was doing his dances to Michael Jackson. But y'all conveniently omitted that when you said that statement, didn't you, Mr. Walsh? Matt. All right, Matt, go ahead.
Neely was yet another violent repeat criminal who had been essentially granted free reign over the subway system, where crime has skyrocketed over the last few years as commuters are frequently accosted, mugged, assaulted, even raped and killed. This is not just the case in the New York City subway system, but in the city as a whole and in major cities all across the country, as we know. But on the F train on Monday afternoon, some of the passengers decided that they had enough. Rather than sitting there and waiting for Neely to lash out violently, waiting for him to make good on his explicit threats to hurt people, hoping that if he starts physically attacking people that, maybe they'll be able to intervene before anyone is seriously hurt or killed. Instead of that, a few passengers stepped up to do what was necessary. At least 3 Good Samaritans restrained Neely. One man, who's a white man and a former Marine, had Neely in a chokehold. Another, a black man, was holding down his arms. They held him down for several minutes because there was no law enforcement immediately on the scene, and they were in this enclosed, claustrophobic environment. And they weren't going to do that and then just let him go. So they held on to him. Eventually, Neely lost consciousness and died. Police took at least one of the passengers who restrained him, the white man, the Marine, into custody for questioning. They released him sometime later without pressing charges. Now, what you should know is that there were over 10 people, I think it was 11 people in total, who were killed on the New York City subway just last year, along with many more accosted and assaulted. You don't know any of their names, do you?
Because the police handled it. That's why we don't know their names. Usually when something happens on the subway, unless it's egregious, like what Frank James did, or what Colin Ferguson did, or the white boy a couple of years ago, what he did when he went on a stabbing spree, the subway cops handle that. They transfer it over to the NYPD proper, and you won't know about that. It'll be a news blurb. What made this particular egregious was because of who Jordan Neely was, the fact that that cop allegedly choked him out for 15 minutes on film, a la George Floyd, and NYPD decided to take him in for questioning and then released him. When proper procedure is, because I know cops and lawyers, he was not supposed to leave until they got the condition of Mr. Neely. When I hear somebody say they only did questioning, that means that he's not in the system. That means a detective or two just went to talk to him and then released him and probably have his contact information. So in case they need to go find him, they know where to go find him. So how do we know he didn't give out something fake? And then when we asked y'all to release the name, y'all said no. But we find out the news had the name.
Many more fell victim to violent crime all over the city. Over 400 people were murdered just in 2022 alone, just in New York City. You probably don't know any of their names either.
Unless you watch the news.
The problem for those victims is that in a great many of those cases, the perpetrators were black.
Here we go.
But as we know, violence carried out by black people, no matter the race of the victim,
here we go,
is not useful to the media or the Democrat Party, which means that those victims must remain nameless and faceless.
Yet the news, which is a Democrat apparatus, reports on these murders every day. What are you talking about, sir? You're really about to tell me one of the strongest arms white supremacy has, the media, they're not going to announce black people's names when they commit a murder Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Deion Patterson killed somebody down here a couple of days ago, shot 4 other people. They knew who he was. They had charges ready the second they slapped the cuffs on him. What are you talking about?
But in this case, the man who had Jordan Neely in a headlock was white. And that is the only detail the left needs. That's it. They don't need anything else. Because they
had the video. They had witness accounts. Witness accounts who said that that man was, he was yelling and throwing garbage, but they didn't feel threatened. Which is what I said earlier. You see that type of shit on the train all the time. At least once a day, if you're lucky. By and large, it don't bother us. We just keep our head on a swivel just in case they might act up. But by and large, they don't fuck with us. They may ask us for money or something and we ignore them.
Can make up the rest, or they can massage the facts a little bit to get them to the point where they want them. The only absolute fact that they need and that they usually can't lie about is the racial component.
Welcome to TV. Hello.
Hundreds of black people are killed every single year after year. A trail of violence and death and misery that is only getting worse over time, not better. Victim after victim, day after day after day. And the left says nothing, does nothing, does not care, does not make martyrs or heroes out of any of these victims, does not demand that we say their names. They wait, and they wait, and they wait, and they have to wait a while until eventually they come across the extremely rare occurrence where a black man dies allegedly at the hands of a white man. And
you hear him. Y'all hear him. How was he allegedly killed? What? Allegedly killed. He killed him on the train, fool. The cops even said it. He had no pulse when they got there. EMS confirmed it. He had no pulse when they put him on the stretcher. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. When somebody's pronounced dead at the hospital, that means they didn't, when they took him out the ambulance, they're going to go through extraordinary measures so they don't get sued for not doing anything. That means they already knew he was dead in the ambulance. They just need a doctor to sign off on it. He literally died on the train. Y'all were hoping that he was still alive when he got to the hospital and then he passed away. Y'all were hoping for that. Because then y'all could go blame the doctors for not saving his life.
That is when they leap into action, taking full advantage, which is what has happened here. So protesters, in response to Jordan Neely's death, swarmed the New York City subway system yesterday, demanding justice for Jordan Neely. The media went into full George Floyd mode, blatantly racializing the incident. While
I'm done with this man. This man blatantly, he just said blatantly racializing. I'm done with this man. Let me guess. That was an AI picture, right? That was really a black man that did it. And we just made him white, right? We just happened to say, hey, let's take this picture and make him look like a methed out Logan Paul. We did that. A white man choked out a black man, had some Sambo looking coon hold his arms, and had a white guy turning his neck, holding his head. Yeah, we racialized that, right? We made that racial. See what I mean when I say they like to use MLK when it's convenient for them? Not the color of their skin, but the content of their character.
In real time, and we could see this happening in real time, they started to reshape Jordan Neely himself into something other than the violent career criminal that he actually was. We could actually, if you were on social media yesterday, you could see this happening in real time.
Okay, since you want to talk about rehabilitating criminals images, you mean like Roland Polanski? Are we gonna talk? If that's the case, then y'all as white folks should have went after David Duke for being part of the Klan. Y'all should have handled the Klan decades ago. Y'all rebranded the Klan to hide their identity. Y'all allowed the Klan to infiltrate police. You allowed them to infiltrate law enforcement. Y'all allowed them to infiltrate the judicial system. Y'all allowed them to infiltrate the education system. Y'all allowed them to infiltrate the government as a whole. If we're going to talk about rehabilitating images. If y'all conservatives really cared about the image of white people, you should have said through your proxies called your politicians that you vote for, we not giving Hollywood no more money until they clean themselves up. I'm not talking about just Disney. I'm talking about every studio. Because it's funny, y'all come outside on a black film and y'all got all the smoke, but y'all know who the degenerates are in Hollywood, but y'all still go frequent their movies. Y'all kiss Chris Pratt's ass all day because he's a God-fearing man, but y'all won't go call out the degenerates in Hollywood. Y'all wait for something to go viral for y'all to say something and stand on your high horse like you did with Sam Smith. Then you have your conservative people over there saying that what happened to Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby was a leftist plot, yet you literally sat there and defended Harvey whatever the hell his name is, Harvey Weinstein, and blamed the females who were on the casting couch. But y'all want to rehabilitate the image of the white person. And yes, I know Harvey Weinstein's Jewish. I'm just saying. He attacked your females. But y'all want to rehabilitate. Y'all have a problem with protesters painting an accurate picture of Jordan Neely. He was going through some things and he was a street performer. So because he had these arrests, he's allowed to get his life snuffed out. Did y'all have this smoke for Tony Tempa when he got the knee on his neck before George Floyd got his? Matt Walsh, did you talk about Tony Tempa? Family, just to show you, I kind of spelled that wrong. Let's see. There you go. He was the original George Floyd, white man in Arizona on an interstate. Got the knee on the neck. He didn't say a word. But you got a 15-minute dissertation about Jordan Neely.
as they began to sort of figure out who they want to make this guy into. And in this case, it appears that Neely sometimes dressed like Michael Jackson when he was on the subway, and he would perform unsolicited dance routines.
You see that on the train every day. He wasn't the only one that did it. You see it on the train, you see it on the platform. Hell, you even see it on the street.
For hoping for tips from people. And this is a fact that, as far as I'm concerned, if anything, makes him even less sympathetic, but which the media is using to paint him as some kind of struggling artist, a kind soul, like Michael Jackson when he was on the subway, and he would perform unsolicited dance routines, for hoping for tips from people. And this is a fact that, as far as I'm concerned, if anything, makes him even less sympathetic, but which the media is using, like Michael Jackson when he was on the subway, and he would perform unsolicited dance routines, for hoping for tips from people. And this is a fact that, as far as I'm concerned, if anything, makes him even less sympathetic. Michael Jackson when he was on the subway, and he would perform unsolicited dance routines, for hoping for tips from people. And this is a fact that, as far as I'm concerned, if anything, makes him even less like Michael Jackson when he was on the subway, and he would perform unsolicited dance routines, for hoping for tips from people. And this is a fact that, as far as I'm concerned, if anything, makes him even less sympathetic, but which the media is using to pay.
Family, I had to play that at least 4 times. So now your rationale is, not only did he do these alleged 44 arrests and he has this open warrant, and he was yelling at people on the train and allegedly throwing garbage and saying he wanted to go to jail because he was a street performer, that's a rationale that he needed to get killed. Him performing on a subway train gave this white man the green light to kill him. He's got to be kidding me right now. He's not serious.
And folk, don't white people lost their mind.
Is he serious right now? He blamed this man dressing up like Michael Jackson and doing dance routines and impersonations for tips. That was a green light to kill him. There's a lot I want to say, but
I'm going to fight all these urges, my brother.
Because I don't want to lose my platform. Now, remember, family, I put up the video when I did the Jordan Neely live stream. Nobody was bothered. He interacted with a couple people. Nobody bothered. He was done. They clapped a little bit. That happens every day on the train. If it ain't him, it's the young boys. Literally, a street performer went viral and got a job, got featured on late night TV with the puppet. We all remember that dude, the one with the puppet. He literally made a career out of it. But you're really going to sit up here and add in that he was a street performer? That mean he needed to get killed? He's not from your boy. He's not from New York. He's from the Midwest. I think he's from the Midwest. Don't hold me to that. We go look it up. I think he's from the Midwest. I'm gonna let it continue.
Paint him as some kind of struggling artist, a kind soul who wished only to bring people joy and happiness. And he just wanted to dance for people. He lived to dance. That's all it was. Many headlines have been published claiming that a white man killed a black Michael Jackson impersonator. That's how they're referring to him in the headlines, as if this is the most important detail about him.
Yes. That is one of the most important details. Yes. That's how he sustained himself. Yes. Just like when someone gets killed, they bring up their occupation. Idiot. Just like if a homeless person killed somebody, what is the thing they're going to say? They were homeless. They had no job, or they had a little job to put some money in their pocket. Where have you been, sir? You're a year younger than me, and I must be wiser than you. You're an idiot.
A Michael Jackson impersonator was killed. Not a career criminal, not a homeless vagrant, not a mentally ill psychopath. No, not that. A Michael Jackson impersonator.
Yes, because that's how people remember him, dum-dum. You wouldn't know a homeless person had a record unless they told you, or they got arrested. They go by what they're known for. He was known as a Michael Jackson impersonator. Hence, again, even the news had to admit he's had interactions with thousands of people, including people in New York politics. Just like when you go on Wikipedia pages and look people up, it's most times it's going to say best known for. Just like when your career ends and you're in the dirt, they're going to say Matt Walsh was best known for hosting a show on Daily Wire. You dummy.
It's almost as if, right, they tackled him to the ground and choked him out for being a Michael Jackson impersonator. Like, the impression they want to give you from the headlines is that the passengers on the train got annoyed with him dancing around like Michael Jackson and then tackled him.
Except you're, oh shit, that was my fault.
They did AOC, Ayanna Pressley, live to dance. That's all. Which is not a Michael Jackson impersonator.
Dum-dum. You already said 5 minutes beforehand that he died because he was threatening people. You literally said it. Now, 5 minutes later, you're trying to say that's why he got killed. Because you think that's what the left said. Stupid. Those were the protesters. We already had the story. We all reported on it. We reported on the circumstances. We gave our opinions on it.
Was killed. Not a career criminal, not a homeless vagrant, not a mentally ill psychopath. No, not that. A Michael Jackson impersonator. It's almost as if, right, they tackled him to the ground and choked him out for being a Michael Jackson impersonator. Like, the impression they want to give you from the headlines is that the passengers on the train got annoyed with him dancing around like Michael Jackson and then tackled him. What the hell? Which is not what happened at all. What the? Democrat politicians have also been activated. AOC, Ayanna Pressley, the squad, together have been leading the lynch mob as usual. AOC has been making frantic public statements demanding an arrest and criminal charges, though of course she doesn't need to wait for any of those things, least of all a conviction, to pass down her own verdict, which she has already done. The mayor of New York City has been, to this point, slightly more cautious in his public response. He hasn't come out and actually said that this was a racist murder. Not yet, anyway. And that's not good enough for AOC, who is now demanding that the mayor publicly accuse this Marine of murder. So to be clear, this is an elected official demanding that a citizen who hasn't been arrested or charged be pronounced guilty of murder.
Again, they did that with Deion Patterson. They already had, the murder charge and the 4 attempted murder charges ready for him before they found him. When a victim dies and they don't have the perp in custody, yeah, they have the murder charges ready. What are you talking about, sir? This is not something unprecedented. When the cops arrest you, they tell you what the charges are. Or did you got to love how the conservatives just bypassed the Constitution and their laws that they love so much. You got to love it. You got to love it. When it's convenient for them, yeah, let's charge everybody. But then when it don't fit their narrative, then they're going to complain that they're doing something egregious. Yes, make it make sense.
Without trial, without conviction, or again, without even a criminal charge. She, along with many others on the left, are openly calling for a public lynching of a man who has not been officially accused.
Because we didn't see a public lynching. We didn't see that, right? All right.
Accused of committing any crime. Now, it remains to be seen whether they'll be able to fully repeat who has not been officially accused of committing any crime.
What?
Be pronounced guilty of murder without trial, without conviction, or again, without even a criminal charge. She, along with many others on the left, are openly calling for a public lynching of a man who has not been officially accused of committing any crime. This
got to be one of the dumbest apes in captivity. It wasn't just the left that said something. Even conservatives said that was fucked up. Even people on your side said it was messed up. Boy, I tell you, these YouTube conservatives, man.
This is an elected official demanding that a citizen who hasn't been arrested or charged be pronounced guilty of murder without trial, without conviction, or again, without even a criminal charge. She, along with many others on the left, are openly calling for a public lynching of a man who has not been officially accused of committing any crime. Now, it remains to be seen whether they'll be able to fully repeat their George Floyd trick with Jordan Neely, which, means riots, looting, another great racial awakening, quote unquote, an unjust and politically motivated trial and conviction, etc. But that is clearly their goal, and they are on their way towards it right now. But as these deeply evil forces set to work to make full use of this incident and to make another white man into a sacrificial victim on the altar of racial justice, what is the actual truth? Right? What is the correct response? Who is really at fault? Well, the answer to that last question, I think, will give us the answer to the others. And to that, we can say that there are two parties responsible for the death of Jordan Neely.
If you don't say, if one of them ain't Daniel Penny, I'm going to let you talk.
And the first party, we cannot forget, is Jordan Neely himself. Okay, so who is first and foremost to blame for the fact that Jordan Neely is dead today? Well, Jordan Neely is. He may have been mentally ill, but he's also the only person on the planet who can directly decide how he behaves. Okay, there's one person with direct control over that, and it's Jordan Neely. He's the one who harassed a train full of passengers who were just trying to get to and from work. He's the one who announced himself explicitly as a threat, it threatened to hurt them. He's the one who's lived a life of crime for at least the past decade. It's his actions that precipitated the events that led to his death. If he had not chosen to announce himself as a threat to those around him, if he had not chosen to carry on the way that he did, he would still be alive today. He put the other passengers in a position of having to choose whether to gamble with their safety by allowing him to, run around screaming, waiting for him to do something violent, or whether they should step in and subdue him. He put them in that position. But it wasn't just him who put them in that position. The other party responsible is the Democrat Party, the political leadership of the city, the justice system, DAs like Alvin Bragg in Manhattan, who have made the conscious decision to keep men like Jordan Neely on the street, to continually release these people back into the public, no matter how many dozens of crimes they each commit, until the point that they are either killed or they kill someone else. That's the way the justice system now operates. Commit crime after crime after crime, keep them on the street until a death occurs, either their death or somebody else's. And actually, in the latter case where they kill somebody else, they might still stay on the streets even after that. The only thing that will definitely get them off the street, is if they're killed. But that's a decision that the system has made. Jordan Neely belonged in prison or a mental asylum. He had long ago made it clear that he had no interest in being a civilized member of society. He was a danger to his community and to himself, and this had been demonstrated time and time again. Jordan Neely could not have been clearer about this. If the system had done what it was supposed to do, if it had gotten him off the street, and locked him away somewhere, he would be alive today. But the left does not want to prosecute crime because crime is committed in a racially disproportionate way. It is committed in a racially disproportionate way, which means that prosecutions and convictions and incarcerations will naturally be disproportionate. But the left can't have that, so they would rather let criminals terrorize you and your family. In fact, it's kind of a win-win for them, because if they refuse to prosecute criminals, they can enact their perverse idea of racial justice by keeping these black criminals on the street. And because it's only, when it comes to criminal justice reform, that's all they're really concerned about, obviously. And at the same time, they can put honest citizens in a position of having to make very difficult decisions with their lives potentially on the line. And then they can exploit those situations. They can send the mob after, yet another scapegoat and use the chaos they've created to advance their racial narrative. Which is why the one man that I will not blame for this is the man who is getting all of the blame right now. Now, you can argue that it's not wise from a self-preservation standpoint for anyone, especially any white man, to intervene in these kinds of situations anymore. While the left has engineered a win-win for themselves, for you, it is a lose-lose. If you decide to get involved, either you get hurt in your attempt to protect yourself or potentially killed in your attempt to protect yourself and others, or you prevail in the struggle and then you find yourself pursued by a crazed leftist mob calling for your head. And then if you're arrested and charged, you'll find yourself standing before a New York City jury or a big city jury somewhere else where your conviction will have already been decided before the jury was even selected. That's what AOC is up to right now. She wants to assume, she's assuming, probably rightly so, that this innocent man is going to be arrested and charged. And so she right now she doesn't want to take any chances. She wants to decide the verdict right now. Pollute the jury pool, have this man labeled a murderer in every headline so that when the trial eventually comes, he's doomed. This makes it extremely dicey, to say the least, to play the Good Samaritan role. But it also makes it all the more heroic. The Marine, who at this point, but likely for not much longer, remains nameless, is not only not at fault, not only in the right, but is in fact a hero. This was a heroic action he took. He did what the leaders of his city would not do, what the system refuses to do, what the police are not allowed to do anymore in a city like New York City. He was under no moral obligation, nor any legal obligation to sit silently, obediently, while a psychotic criminal vagrant runs wild, threatening and harassing innocent people. He's not under that obligation. This is an obligation that the left wants to impose on us. They want us to believe that it is our responsibility to helplessly submit ourselves to the whims of every violent scumbag we come across. But it is not so. And so this man took action. He deserves a medal for his actions. In a healthy society, that's what he would get. Yet we don't live in a healthy society. We live in a depraved and confused one, which means, tragically, I'm afraid that his reward is likely to be quite different.
Super Saiyan Purple, we're not gonna slander that man like that. So I'm gonna ask you to delete that comment. So y'all heard what he just said. Y'all see the title, what I put. I need to change it. Again, you can say it. I have no proof of that. So I'm not going to take it as gospel. Plus, he says he's an admitted troll. I'm not going to put that statement out there like that, because only he knows the truth. I can admit I can admit to y'all I deleted someone. How do you know it's true or not? When you have a platform, you're not allowed to put out statements like that without definitive proof. And I'm not going to go sit up there to go look up if Matt Walsh ever did that with his kids. I don't play with kids on my platform. So if you believe he did it and you have proof, put it on your channel. Don't bring it here. I appreciate that. Thank you. So now you heard what he said. I got to change the title. It's not only Matt Walsh that's going to destroy the conservative media and political power. They've already done it. He's just being more vocal with it. The Conservative Party sucks. This is why people on both sides of the ideological spectrum don't mess with them. Even their own conservatives don't like them. I'm talking about these TV, YouTube conservatives. They're the worst. Along with the ones that be social media talking, they make the Conservative Party look bad. Because instead of doing information gathering, they just run with a narrative that somebody puts online. And then their racism shows up. Their ineffectual ability to do a simple thing as a DuckDuckGo search to make sure something's true before you post it, they won't do that. They run with narratives. Then when they get proven wrong, they don't want to say, you know what, my bad. He literally sat there for 15 minutes blaming Jordan Neely for his own death. When even people on his side said, we don't care about the arrest. Okay, he might have been a criminal. That doesn't justify people taking the law into their hands. Hell, they have something on these trains and buses in New York City and all in these stations. It's a nice little saying they call, if you see something, say something. And it also says on that poster and those flyers, you do not engage a criminal. You do not gauge someone doing something. Now, we understand everybody's not going to follow that. We get it. But by and large, they don't want to have to handle something unnecessary. We talk about the police. There was no reason for Daniel J. Penny, allegedly that's his name, even though I just saw New York Magazine publish his name, so we're not sure, but I'm just going to keep saying alleged until it's confirmed. There was no reason for him to bother that man. Because now he can't come back and lie and say that that man did something to him, because they have multiple witness accounts that said that man did nothing. He jumped him. That's why I said yesterday on Twitter, and the day that I did the live stream, Mr. Perry, the Sambo that held his arms, the white guy, and the tether in the back, they all need to get charged with murder. I don't want to hear involuntary manslaughter. Doesn't work here. Know why? Because the assailant was an ex-Marine, which means he's trained. He's a cop. He's trained. He knew what was going to happen. He had that man in a chokehold for 15 minutes. Everybody involved got to go down. Murder 2. I take that back. Daniel J. Perry got to do murder 2. The Sambo who held his arms got to get involuntary manslaughter. The one that held his neck, same thing. The tether in the back, he got to get a charge. He got to get deported. If they let this pass, we're going to be in trouble. Because now the white supremacists is going to go outside and think they could just mess with us. They want a race war so bad they can taste it. We're not going to be the reason they're going to do it. That boy Rue said, I've seen countless people in the hood get put to sleep for getting out of hand without them being killed. So why doesn't a trained Marine have self-control, but the average dude in the hood does? Because the average dude in the hood knows he's going to make the block hot if he kills somebody. The trained Marine knew to have self-control, but he probably had what I bet you was going to come out. Just like I predicted that this was a cop, it's going to come out that he's like, oh, I had a flashback of when I was in Afghanistan and I wasn't in control. They're going to go for an insanity defense. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. His lawyer's going to drum up an insanity defense. He's gonna say some BS like I thought he was a terrorist. That's gonna come out. I'm telling you, and we can't let that happen. Nope. Because guess what? You say that, sir. If I'm the prosecutor, I'm like, okay, so then I get to indict the New York State Police, right? Because if you had all these problems like PTSD, what's that to say about the hiring requirements of the New York State Police, allegedly? So y'all are handling people that have mental illness. Kind of like the officer who killed Tamir Rice, who tried to go for another job and they found out he had a record of mental illness and they fired him. Yeah, we're going to need you charged, sir. Murder 2. With special circumstances because you're a Marine and a trained cop because you worked for Internal Affairs, allegedly. Oh, we know Hayward McCullough. We know about the Marines. The Sambo, you got to get involuntary manslaughter. You got to do at least 15 years. The scumbag looking Russian that stood up there and held that boy's neck, you got to do 15 years. That tether in the back, he got to do 5 because he didn't do nothing to help. And yes, people have been convicted for not helping. People have been convicted for not calling the cops. So there's precedent. You got to do 5 years and then you got to get deported. If you're illegal. Miriam said they're already getting emboldened and thinking that now I hope New Yorkers do the just thing and don't let this be. They did this broad daylight in front of the whole world, got the film, got witnesses. New York don't play. That right there, when I have hope a little bit because I saw what we did with Sean Bell with the 113th precinct in Jamaica, Queens. People were out there protesting that precinct until they arrested them cops. So I have a little bit of faith. And we have social media, so this ain't gonna die. Your boy Rue said, so a Marine with mental illness is acceptable to walk the streets, but a homeless man with mental illness needs to die on the spot. Matt Walsh, probably. Yep. You also forgot that he was a Michael Jackson impersonator. So that was a veil shot at the king of music. But there you go, family. That is this punk bitch, Matt Walsh, and his history of racism. Conservative Party, conservative ideologues. If this is your man's, I feel sorry for you. You will never gain power again in this country. And I get it. It's the far right. I get it. But like the black man said that initially spawned off this show. They don't care. When they hear conservatism, they're going to bring him up. They're going to bring up Candace. They're going to bring up Lauren Chen. They're going to bring up the black church crowd. Oh, yes, the black church crowd. Yes, you guys will be lumped in with this because y'all love talking about God country too. This is going to be your spokesman. With Jordan Neely, this is going to be your representative, right? All the racists came outside. Of course they did. All the racists and trolls came outside. We document everything. Y'all feel so passionate about this? Hey, Matt Walsh, you and the rest of these stupid ass conservatives, I need to see y'all when Mr. Penny gets arraigned. I need to see y'all out there protesting, saying that this is wrong. He needs to be freed. I need this. I need this. Stand on what you believe in, you punk. Go to these protests where they have and say that, hey, Matt, Mr. Neely, he deserved what he got. Go ahead. Because y'all were real vocal with Unite the Right too. Y'all were real vocal. Go to New York City and do a counter protest saying that he deserved what he got. Go out there, Matt Walsh. Put up a nice big speaker on one of them trucks and just replay what I just played for 15 minutes on a loop. Go ahead. Stand on what you said. Stand on it. We know you won't. Just like you wanted to say the N-word to black people, you won't stand on it on the street. Because they'll put you where Carolyn Bryant Dunham is at. Because that's how New York gets down. All right, family, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Our phone, something phone. Rest in peace to the young brother. We damn sure gonna get you some justice. We damn sure gonna get you some justice. All right, y'all. I'm up out of here. Hopefully, y'all will join me. I know y'all probably still be sleeping tomorrow morning, but around 6 a.m., we will be doing the King's coronation coverage. Yes, we will. That's going to be a fun show. Let me hit y'all with a little preview. We got the thumbnail, right? That's the thumbnail. So if you saw it on the channel, that's the thumbnail. Yep, 12 nations are asking for reparations. This is going to be fun. But before we go, let's do this story just so we can segue into that for tomorrow morning. I'll bring it up again tomorrow, but you guys will be the first ones to see this. Oh, Tabernacle. They are trying to troll over there. Yes, they are. Family. Via the Huffington Post. Massive dingling is mowed into lawn at King Charles coronation party venue. A phallus fit for a king appeared at the landmark where a coronation bash to honor Charles will take place. God, no, they starting. Brits are keeping more than a stiff upper lip at a party site for King Charles' coronation. Pranksters mold a giant erect penis into the hallowed lawn of Royal Crescent in Bath, where a major celebration is planned, according to outlets. How did they do this? See the grass-fed family jewels here and here. They have the picture. Tabernacle. Baby, come look at this. That is some troll shit. That is some troll shit. Oh, that is some troll shit. Look at this. Look what trolls did. That's real. They said some pranksters did that. King Charles about to have a party. There they did that. That's what I want to know. Shout out to them. Wait, they said they have another one. We're gonna switch it. They said they have another one. That's what it looks like on the ground. Hey, this is the epitome of it. Wait a minute. Come here. This is the epitome of it. Who did this?
We don't keep no bitches around us, man. We stay bitchless, man.
Who did this? Where's the security services? Where are they? Where are they? This is the greatest. Where are they? Where are those devils? Quite the comedians, yeah? Yeah. Oh, that is hilarious. The 30-foot spectacle was apparent to locals on Thursday morning, 2 days ahead of the big day. Somerset Live reported. They must have quickly realized it was not a likeness of Charles Scepter. A Georgian-themed grand coronation party scheduled at Royal Crescent to celebrate Charles' ceremony in London's Westminster Abbey, SWNS reported. Picnics and impromptu gatherings are also expected in the area and around the country. Celebrate the 300th anniversary of the Georgian era. Decorate your own regal crown, watch demonstrations on royal fashion, and visit the Georgian cooking up delicious recipes in the kitchen. A flyer on the party. Flyer set of the party per the Mirror. Facts, baby. Look at the last line of this. Who wrote this? Must have been a white guy. I bet you it was a white guy. Look at that last line.
This one?
This one.
Looks like cock is already being served.
Oh my God. No, looks like. Who mans is this?
Be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
All right, family. So that's a little preview of what you can see tomorrow. So again, join me at 6 a.m. I will be live at 11 o'clock. That's gonna be a fun stream. We're gonna make so many jokes in there, family. So come with your appetites, bring your breakfast, and bring your belly laughs because it's gonna be fun. All right, y'all. I hope you guys have the beautiful rest of your day. Take care. Stay safe out there. And y'all know what to do when the agitators' piece come to mess up your existence.